Okay, so as I was saying before, I had a jack in a block right directly underneath the front diff. There's 4 bolts that you got to take out from under there, so I set up some jack stands with a 2x4 farther back and pulled the jack out of there. Got my 4 bolts out of the bottom. Then in the top, there it is, situated here. There's some bolts that go up, that come through this plate up here that sits right below the power steering. And there's a shaft, or there's a bearing here, and it basically just sits on the top of the case of the front diff. You got to take the 2 bolts through the side of the frame. There's a nut and a bolt that go through this bracket that goes all the way across. You take them 2 bolts out, then there's 2 bolts that go through this bracket into the front diff. Comes loose, and then up in there between that bearing and that bracket and the bottom of the power steering pump, I don't know if we can see it on my light, there's a shaft back in there. You can kind of see, yeah, right there. There's a spline shaft that comes out of the bottom of the power steering pump. 10mm nut and bolt through it. You just loosen it up, and voila, you lift up on these steering knuckles back here, lift up on it. It gives you enough room to wiggle that diff loose. And then I got to get the wiring harness unplugged from it, and then see what I figure out. See what I figure out after that, and we'll be back.